Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, seen Wednesdays on the Sports Collectors Daily Facebook page and the Great American Collectibles Facebook page. You can also listen to us on iHeartRadio, Pandora, and Spotify. The Great American Collectibles Show is brought to you by the National Sports Collectors Convention and Sports Collectors Daily. Tonight's headlines are brought to you by Sports Collectors Daily. For all your hobby news, features, and more, go to sportscollectorsdaily.com. And now your host, Tom Zappola, and Red Sox Hall of Famer, Rico Petrocelli.
Hey. Oh, hey, how you doing, everybody? Nice to be here. Tom, folks, I got to tell you this. This guy's unbelievable. He had a knee operation, a transplant. What do you call it?
A knee transplant. A knee replacement.
A knee replacement.
2.5 weeks ago.
2.5 weeks ago, and he's walking on it. It hurts. I know it hurts.
It does hurt, but not like it did. Let me tell you something.
That's a tough operation.
Let's say hi to Jordan right away.
Hey,
Jordon Gilroy from Leland's is with us.
Jordan.
I got to tell you something. The first 24 hours, if you haven't had a knee replacement and you're contemplating it, the new technology is off the charts, amazing. However, there's a however here. The first 24 hours after the operation, the first 24 hours, if the pain scale is on a 1 to 10, I put it at 15.
Really?
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal.
I heard that. I had my hips.
But I'm not one of these narcotic guys.
No.
You know what I mean? I don't like that crap.
Right.
So he prescribed some of these opioids, oxycodone.
Oh, please.
And he said, take one every 4 hours. And I looked at him like, are you nuts?
Yeah, right.
I wound up taking one.
Yeah. And
One-
the room moved to...
I slept like a baby. I wound up taking one. The rest was Tylenol and
that's good. But
naproxen.
that recovery is tough. The knee is tougher than the hip.
You got to do the work.
Yeah,
You got to do the work.
I know.
And the thing is, my PT person is a Nazi.
Wow, the bad tough on you.
She's like she tortures me.
You got to
she gets
do that.
pleasure out of it.
It takes hard work to get back.
Anyway, welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show. Tom Zapp. I am glad to be back. Last week I broadcasted with from the house with JM. Mm-hmm. It's not the same, Chrissy. You know what I mean? It's just not the same.
No, it's not the same feel.
Right? It's just...
Of course. This is a studio.
I like being in the
That's a
studio
house.
with my friends and all of that good stuff. But anyways, I'm glad to be back.
Yeah.
I thought I'd be back a lot later than this, but I'm not.
I'm telling you.
I got a cane.
You imagine. Yeah.
But I haven't used it. I don't even use it.
Well, what'd you take it for?
Beat people.
No,
Just in case. I haven't used it. I don't even use it.
I know it. A lot of people have had the having that operation.
Jordan, were you an athlete in high school, college?
He looks it.
Yeah.
What'd you play?
No is
Basketball?
basketball and baseball.
Basketball and baseball.
Yeah.
So you played, I know you're a pup, but all kidding aside, playing basketball for 50 years and running all those years, that really does a number on your knees.
It does, of course.
Right?
Yeah. When you get older, you're gonna get the back, the knees, the hands,
The head.
elbows. Jeez, got nothing left.
I'm sorry, say that again. You're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, he's breaking up, and breaking up is hard to do.
Can you
Isn't that a
talk?
song?
Let's see.
If you guys give him a chance to answer,
No,
it'll be
he's-
fine. He's not breaking up. You just got to stop. It's a delay thing.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. So if you
Okay.
stop, you'll be able to hear him.
All right, so Jordan, we got a lot. We're going to be all over the place today. And by the way, Tom Ruggie from Family Destiny Office is going to be joining us later on. Talk about investments. What else? Oh, look at this. This is one for you and one for Chrissy. I got a really nice.
What is?
One of our viewers sent a dozen of these
Yeah.
to my home, and they're Great American Collectible
about that?
cookies.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Thank you.
Yeah, they're good.
Oh, that's
they're
so
kind of
cool.
cute. Huh? That's yours.
That is very
No,
cool.
I don't want it.
Oh, you don't have bread now.
That's right. I can't have wheat.
Here, Chrissy.
I'll take
Whey
this cookie.
is the
Thank
W-H-Y.
you.
Anyway.
All right. So, anyways,
Nice.
yeah, that was nice of them, and thank you
Yeah.
for
Good
sending
cookies.
those.
Good,
A nice dozen of Great American Collectible
And how many did
cookies.
you eat so far?
3.
All right.
And that's it. I'm done. Okay. All right. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to be all over the place.
Again.
Jordan, you've got when's your next auction?
September 29th is when it opens.
And when does it close?
October 19th.
October 19th. Okay.
When do you take consignments?
When you begin taking
Begin, yeah. I mean, you begin taking consignments for that show. So you got a month about.
It really never ends. The day after the last auction, I mean, even as the last auction's going, I mean, the deadline for the next one, I guess, you start taking stuff after the deadline. So after the deadline in a couple weeks, the day after, taking stuff for the winter.
Yeah.
So months.
Okay.
Do you decide? I mean, like you'll take a consignment sometimes, I'm assuming, and decide it's not going to go into this auction. It's more suited for the next auction. Do you guys do that much, or do you just when you get a consignment, it goes into the next auction?
Unless there's like a duplicate or we have something similar, we would put something in an auction. I mean, as far as timing goes, timing is pretty much good year round. Maybe it's a little softer in July and beginning of August, maybe end of June. But now if someone gave us something, we wouldn't wait until, the winter because you don't need to wait that long.
Yeah.
Not only that, if I give you a card or whatever it is, I don't want to wait.
No, it's a good
couple
point.
of months, you know what I mean? I would think the person that's giving you the item was saying, hey, I want to get this in the next auction.
Well,
I'm sure you do that.
Do you guys give cash advances every once in a while? I know some auction houses do.
Yeah, I mean, if the deal warrants it, then we're always open to it.
Yeah, so in other words...
How much?
It depends. It depends. If it's a Rico Petrocelli game-used bat, $4.99. Right?
I was just going to try to get some money here. What do you do?
All right, tell us about the USA Basketball triple autograph Jordon card.
Oh, man. So that when the USA team won gold, they released a photo of this card signed by LeBron, Curry, and Durant. This one-of-one card. So then they sold all these other cards saying, oh, there's one chase card. And then everyone kept buying these things. And then a couple weeks later, they announced that they produced almost 600,000 cards. Oh. So now there's this one chase card that started with a bounty of 100,000, then it went to 150, then it went to 250, wow. 500,000. And now people are saying that Giannis on the Bucks is offering $1 million, which I don't really know the validity of that, but the $500,000 was pretty valid, and it's crazy. I mean, no one pulled it yet. There are 600,000 cards out there, and just some lucky person's going to get it.
That's unbelievable. That is amazing.
Smart market.
Do you remember when Walmart did something like that with the Wagner card? I don't know if this was before your time, but Walmart. And I don't remember who donated the card. Well, I'm not sure it was. I don't think it was the Gretzky card, but Walmart had a similar kind of a thing, and it was a Honus Wagner card in a box or something.
Yeah,
I can't remember who won it. This was years.
That's not
and years
a bad idea.
No, so this particular card. Let's stay with this for a minute, if we can, Jordan. So the demographic that is really interested in this card, it's not. Is it the 25 to 35-year-olds or old timers like us, or is a little bit of everyone?
Well, I think when USA won gold, it was pretty much just everyone, not people that were specifically doing this forever. They wanted to buy a card, and I think they were charging maybe $8 or $9 a card, and you can get a deal if you bought up to 20 at once. So people are just buying it because we won gold and they were happy. They weren't thinking about making money on it. And now that there's a bounty, I'm sure everyone in the world is trying to go after this card. But if I were to, level it down, I would probably say anywhere from like 20 to 45-year-olds, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea because I'm a marketing guy. And, you want to get people interested in these things. And it's, you don't like it, do
No,
you?
I do like it. I do like it. I just, we're going to talk about this. I know we've talked about it many, many, many times, Jordan, but I still have a not a warm, fuzzy feeling about the direction that the hobby is going in with young collectors. You know, I see a lot. I saw a ton of it at the National. Rico and I saw it at the National in the hotel lobby, where young kids, and they're great. It's great what they're doing. You know, buying cards, trading cards, flipping cards, blah 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 blah. But if you ask them a question about the individual, about the player, half of them can't even answer. You know what I mean? It's not. It's. I find it. I don't want to use the word insulting, but it's just a lot of them seem to be focused on. It's no difference between a Aaron Judge card and some stock that you've never heard of.
Yeah, the social media aspect of it too. It's just popular to show things off and have expensive items. And back in the day when it was like a hobby before all this COVID stuff, people would just buy what they liked. And now people buy things on speculation. And there are cards of people that are in college that are selling for more than Babe Ruth. So at some point, if they spend a lot of money on these things, they might get burnt, and that would be a bad thing. But yeah, there are people that would rather have a Charizard card than a card of Mickey Mantle or Ty Cobb. And everyone has their own opinions and things that they like. But yeah, going to the shows, you see a lot of just trying to make the money, which is great. I'm sure some people are making money. But as far as the hobby goes, it's not inexpensive enough to have fun anymore. It's too expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. Rico and I, we were staying at the Hilton at the National. We were in the lobby having a dinner, and the place was mobbed with young kids. Yeah. And this one kid happened to be walking by us. He had a little briefcase. He couldn't have been 15 years old.
That's about. Yeah.
And I asked the kid as he was walking by, I said, "Hey, did you have a good afternoon?" He says, "I had a great afternoon." And he has his little briefcase, and I asked him, I says, "So what do you got in there for cards?" He says, "I don't have any cards. It's all cash." I said, wow.
But the thing is, as these kids, all right, they're 15, 17, some older, and some younger, 12-year-olds, let's say. But as they get older and they kind of stay in the hobby, won't they be the kids where they really want to make some money or collect some really?
In other words, get into the love of the hobby.
Well, I mean, at least they're in it.
I agree with you.
It goes both ways.
There is another side to that. You're absolutely right.
So,
no, I agree with you. And that's what you want. That's what you hope is going to happen.
That's what you need.
Yeah. Some of the highlights of your upcoming auction, Jordan. Can you talk about them?
Oh, yeah. We have Mickey Mantle signed 51 Bowman rookie card, which is pretty nice. Wow. It's the card is just an authentic, but the autograph was graded a 10 by PSA, which is pretty nice.
Wow.
The Satchel Paige PSA 7 48 leaf rookie card, which is incredibly rare. I think the last one sold was years ago, which is saying a lot now with all these going on. And then one of the coolest things, it's circulated on social media the last couple months. It's this piece signed by Mickey Mantle on a board, like 100 times. But on one of them in the middle, he started writing his name and got to M and then crossed it out and said, "These pens suck." So it's a board that might be like 16 by 20. And they were supposed to be cut up and put on those sports impressions figurines, but these never were. So this is a board signed by Mickey Mantle 99 times. And the 100th one in the center has that funny inscription on it. So that's one that I'm excited to see the most, what it will do.
What about memorabilia, other memorabilia?
We have a Judge rookie playoff jersey. He's on fire right now.
Yeah, he is.
Tons of game used bat. We have a Thurman Munson PSA 10 bat. We have some early jerseys to modern players. A rookie photo match, Paul Molitor Brewers jersey, which is really nice. Shaquille O'Neal's 93 All-Star Game photo match uniform. A lot of everything. Unopened wax boxes, single cards, autographs.
Of course. Yeah, it's great. You mentioned uniforms, game used uniforms. You see what the Babe Ruth game used
$24 million.
$24 million. $24 million.
Jordan, do you
plus.
happen to know who won that?
I don't know. I'm sure they're going to the chest.
I must admit,
Jeez.
but I am sworn to secrecy that I know who won that.
Well, yeah, don't do it.
I can't. I would get annihilated. But I'm happy for the individual that won it. That's all I can say.
Yeah, real happy. He's $24 million.
Let's talk about Fanatics Fest. Were you there?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? I mean, I'm here. I'm getting mixed. I've gotten mixed reviews on Fanatics Fest. Some people said it was way too expensive to get in. Some people said it was overrated. Some people said it was fantastic. What's your take on it?
I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it's a huge show in New York City, and any city you go to with that kind of access to celebrities and all the free stuff, $60 or whatever it was to get in. I mean, it's more than other shows, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not like it's $500. It's not like it's going to take everybody out of the equation. Yeah. And it was funny. I was walking around and these 8-year-old kids, 10-year-old kids were just ducking under security to get selfies with Travis Scott and all these celebrities. Free autographs if you track down people at the show and make a lot of money. I mean, if you get one autograph from Travis Scott, it's $500.
Right. Good point. Wow. I saw a couple of reels. Did you see the one with Gronk? There's one of Gronk when he was bitching about the value of, he's talking to one of the dealers and he's bitching about there was a PSA 10 and he's comparing it with Brady's and he can't understand why his card is not worth as much as Brady's. So what does he do? He picks it up, smashes it and breaks it, and then he takes the card out and signs it for the.
That's nice.
And then the other thing was Brady. Someone was holding Brady's feet to the fire. He's walking around about his autograph. Did you see that reel?
Yeah,
that was a pretty cool reel where he's talking about. I was in a hurry here signing it. I don't typically sign like that, and my autograph has changed over the years. So that was pretty enlightening with some of those guys. Jordan, what about the technology? Is the technology going too fast now for the hobby? I mean, some of the stuff, honestly, at the National was really difficult to even comprehend.
It also seems like a lot of people are trying to create the next best thing in hopes of being bought out by someone. So there might be 10 new companies in the next year, but maybe one or two will achieve mainstream success, and then maybe another one or two might do well, just not be as popular. But yeah, we're still, in 10 years, we might think back and be like, oh my gosh, I'm surprised more people didn't do more in the technology space because, the people that run this hobby are collectors. Sure, there are tech people involved, but there's still, if you know tech, then there's a lot of money and, a lot of money to be made. A lot of growth. So.
And we've talked about that, Rico. You throw so much stuff against the wall and some of it's going to stick. But in the past, 2 years ago, we were talking about NFTs, how that was going to just explode. The whole fractional buying thing, how that was going to explode. And it never came to fruition.
There's a lot of stuff that comes up, when people see that other people are making a lot of money, and these things are worth a lot.
Yep.
I mentioned the Babe Ruth, $24 million. If I was, when I was a kid, what was the first thing you think, wow, holy geez, I can make $1 million.
Oh, good.
American dream, right?
Yep.
I got to look for stuff. So that's the way it is. And maybe that's becoming more prevalent.
No, it is. We are chatting with Jordon Gilroy from Leland's. Jordan's going to be with us for the whole hour. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Gax blast from the past.
Another Gax?
Gax blast from the past.
From the past,
Hang in there. We'll be right back.
1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectables Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back. What?
Hey,
That
I'm
hurt?
suing you for abuse, physical abuse.
You know how many? I mean, this arm.
Look
just,
at that.
You realize how
For a
important
guy
this arm was?
67 years old,
Yeah.
huh?
This arm was so important to the Boston Red Sox. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was really
A
important.
pitcher's arm is more.
No, I'm telling you. All right,
Pitcher.
we are back. Jordan from Leland's is in the house. But right now, it is time for a GAX Blast from the Past, brought to us each week by our good friend Paul Borges and the great guys at PB Collectables in beautiful Newport, Rhode Island.
GAX.
PB Collectables is your neighborhood card shop.
It is.
Go to pbcollectables.com.
Except I live in New Hampshire.
I know you do. Go to pbcollectables.com and you can see anything you want to see. He's got great stuff. Now, Jordan, you're not going to be able to see this video. You'll see it tomorrow night when it airs. But this was kind of, I find this kind of cool, and I want to get your take on this.
Well, certainly.
I call this great sportsmanship. Last week, I watched, along with a lot of other people, the World Championship Little League Series game.
Yeah.
Southern Florida against a Chinese Taipei.
Taipei, yeah.
It was a great finish, and it was actually very entertaining and very exciting in extra innings. And this was the last This is how it ended. But I want you to pay attention
before my 100th birthday, or
I
what?
want you to pay attention to the American kids.
All right.
Go ahead.
With the runner at second base, Norton. He gets it down. Oh, it's perfect. He's throwing it away.
Nobody's
Right there, he's going to win the Little League World Series championship. Chinese Taipei in shock. It was fielded and thrown to first base. Nobody was there on an incredible bunt
American
by
coach.
the last hitter in the order, Hunter Alexander.
Look at that.
And
Great
for the
sportsmanship.
first time, Florida are Little League World Series champions. 2-1 is the final. And all the Florida kids are gathered and holding and hugging and consoling the kids from Taiwan.
Yeah.
Now, that is good sportsmanship.
Yeah, right. It's very good. For the kids, it's wonderful.
Absolutely, right?
It's wonderful.
Now, would you have done that?
My era in baseball?
Yeah, you would have gotten into a fight.
What are you kidding me? Shake hands after the game, after they kill you, they knock the crap out of you. Hey, yeah, well, good game. I give you a good game.
But you know something? I'll tell you. I don't know if I'm sure you didn't watch any of it. It's really interesting to see how these kids play the game today at the Little League level. I mean, with the timeouts and the stepping out of the batter's box and all that stuff, they emulate their favorite players.
Exactly what
they
do.
emulate their favorite players.
And this was a good series.
It was very good.
A lot of good games.
It was very, very good. I want to get back to FanFest for a second, Jordan. Did you guys have a booth set up?
We did not, no.
So you just kind of circled the wagons?
Yeah.
And was there anything? I mean, Fanatics really? It was a Fanatics show, correct?
Sure.
Yes, but there were dealer tables on like the right side. It was just more so focused on the fans than as like a card show.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was cool. Like the card aspect was there. There were a bunch of dealers and familiar dealers. But it was, I mean, if I were to put into percentages, I'd probably say like 70 to 75% corporate and, big companies. And then the 25% was in the back with the cards.
So it was more of a fan fest.
That's what I would label it as.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure they had the card dealers to bring in a lot of people because that is popular too. It just wasn't the main focus.
I have some note here on something a little different. To change directions about CT scanning unopened boxes. Are people trying to do that?
Well, apparently they've been doing it for a while now, and now it's just only been brought up to the public. Yeah, I mean, you can get a pack, an unopened box, and essentially see what is in there. And they've been testing it out with these. Well, they call it packs and boxes. It's like a couple cards in a pack, and you can kind of see what it is.
Yeah.
So it's real interesting. Some of these boxes are $10,000, and I guess if you scan it, you can tell what's in there, and you can decide to open it, sell it, do something else.
So why can't that's interesting. So the general public could do the same thing, right?
Yeah, I don't know if these places like just take submissions. They might, but I didn't know it was that easy to get that kind of scanner. I thought they were.
Yeah. They're making it more available now.
No,
to
think
households.
About this. Well, listen.
A couple of 100,000.
Hold on. Listen to this. You know that you can go for a CT scan and pay for it now. You can, insurance won't cover it, but you can pay $500 and go for a CT scan.
Oh, you can go for it. So you're going to bring a box in.
Exactly. Right? You bring a case with you,
nuts.
and she says, lie down. You said, no, just put the box on there, right?
Jeez. Interesting.
That makes sense. But so the CT scan, if you have a box, though, you're not going to see, you can't see every card. You're going to see just the top card and the bottom card, wouldn't you? Or not?
I think it's more so for like those flawless cases where there are that pack of cards in the middle, then those like 3 individual cards and cases. Also, like Topps Dynasty things where there's only one card in there and you can see what it is. But I think they did scan an unopened pack recently, and they were able to tell the cards each name, which was crazy. It's crazy how they were able to do that. But I don't know if you could do that in a 24 pack box. That might be tough.
Yeah. Which is
something though. If you really think about it, taking it a step further, this could really upset the apple cart with the whole unopened pack phenomena, couldn't it? I mean, theoretically, where guess what? If the general public knows what's in that unopened box or that unopened wax pack, they're not going to be interested.
Yeah, but they're not going to know. I mean, I could see the auction companies doing it. They want to find out if something, and they know if you can do it, they know there's a great card in there.
So why can't the public know that?
Because they don't have access to the CT scans. $500. Come on. How many people are going to do that?
If there's a $10,000 card in there, quite a few.
Well, let's go.
I was just thinking the same thing. Yeah. We are chatting with Jordon Gilroy from Leland's Auctions. Let's talk about memorabilia, Jordan. I know you're basically a memorabilia guy, if I recall. I think the memorabilia part of the hobby is red hot right now. Am I right or wrong?
You're right. Yeah, it's taken off. It's a lot of fun to see.
Now, game use. I know game use jerseys are really, really popular. Game use bats. What about like ephemera? Things like contracts. I'm not talking, Fernando Tatis contracts. I'm talking, I don't know. Babe Ruth contracts or Nap Lajoie contracts, things like that, as well as game used bats by those individuals. That real vintage memorabilia, is that exploding, or is it a little of everything?
It's a little bit of everything, but mostly the things that do better now are game used and items that are fresh. Like if there was a Babe Ruth signed contract that is fresh and was never sold, that would sell for a ton of money. But if the same Ruth contract that's sold, let's say 4 times in the last 6 years sold, that probably wouldn't change much in value just because people can see what it went for. And I mean, autographs around the board, like Babe Ruth autographs, seem to be going up $1,000 every year for the last 3 or 4 years. Tickets were hot. Some were still pretty good. Photos were still pretty good, but game used items, especially bats and jerseys, are the 2 things that are rising a lot heavier and faster than everything else.
It's interesting because I've never been into game used jerseys simply because from a display standpoint, it's kind of difficult to display in your house or your office or wherever. Game used bats is another story. But what about what about signed baseballs? Pretty stagnant? Or are those? I'm not talking about. I'm talking vintage, not modern. Signed baseballs, Ruth balls, Gehrig balls. Are they still appreciating in value?
Yes. In like the low to mid end, it's pretty much the same. But let's say the PSA 7 overall Ruth balls, those are doing a lot better. Like the top 1% of signed baseballs are doing better, and then almost everything else is kind of staying the same. Unless you have a signed baseball by Mickey Mantle or a player with a really cool inscription that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
That blows up. But Babe Ruth and all those autographs, like if it's not a high grade, it's kind of the same. I mean, they go up with inflation every year, but Babe Ruth balls aren't going to be a $10,000, $20,000 floor in a poor condition anytime soon.
Yeah. The vintage stuff you were talking about, and Tom always loves, and which I don't blame him. Well, who are the people that usually will bid on that? I mean, you got to have some bucks.
You're talking about for the high end stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Well, wait a minute. I'm a collector now, right? And I'm listening to you and said, the Ruth stuff is a million, 600,000, and all that. I'm not going to even think about it. How can I? I don't have the money, but I have some money to buy other type of cards, obviously not as expensive.
He's asking a
What do
great
I
question,
do?
Jordan. Can you advise him? How does an
Collectors
average
wanna know
collector, the average Joe, can the average Joe get up to that higher level if he uses his head? I have a theory about that, but
it's good.
I'll share it with you.
Because
But
we've got millions of collectors listening.
It's
Watching.
it's possible. It's like a snowball. You just make some good deals and I guess make money on each of those deals. I'm not saying it's like the easiest thing in the world, but it does happen. Go to shows because sometimes deals pop up at shows and the people don't put the stuff online. So it could be viewed as hobby fresh and maybe they don't know the value of something. People make money at shows all the time.
Yeah.
But when it goes to auction, if you buy from an auction to resell it, it's difficult because the price is there online.
right.
The way to make money, I mean, in my opinion, is to buy things that aren't, shown off that much. I mean, if you're the first person to bring it out and show people, then you have a better chance of making money.
I couldn't agree with you. It's private sales.
What's your theory?
Well, I've had some dear friends in this hobby, Hef being one of them, that I don't make a move unless I speak to them. And not just Hef, but I'll talk to Hef, Joe Tomasulo, I'll talk to Joe Orlando, Derek, just asking them for their opinion. Hey, there's a private deal here. What do you guys think? And I always use them as kind of I take seriously what they say.
Right.
And what I typically do is if it's a piece that I'm really not interested in, but I see that it has great value, I'll buy it. And then what I do when I buy a piece, I always take half of the money when I sell something and put it in my little kitty.
Right.
And so I'll buy a piece basically with half the money, I'll buy a piece from my personal collection. And then I'll buy a piece that I'm going to flip.
Yeah.
And sell and use that money to buy something else.
Yeah, that's good.
That's typically what I've been doing for quite a long time.
Of course,
it has helped me.
Well, millions of collectors have access to those same guys,
Yeah, of course. No, you do.
Do they?
You do.
You're talking about a collector can go to
Absolutely.
Jason.
Jordan,
if
a collector, if one of your customers called you up and say, hey, Jordan.
No, not customers. A younger collector.
Called you up and asked for you and asked your opinion, would you give it to them?
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Right. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm asking you because I would think it would be hard to get in touch with the experts.
No, these guys are easily
that's
accessible.
Great to know.
Jordan, what do you specialize in?
Autographs and cards and memorabilia, a little bit of everything.
Both sides, modern and vintage?
Yeah.
What's your one single favorite piece?
That I own?
Yeah,
or?
that you own.
Oh, man. Good question. It's not even sports. It's an artist, Keith Haring.
Okay. What is the piece?
It's a book that one of his like gallery books that he signed and drew a sketch in.
Oh, very nice.
My favorite. Everything else, like sport related, there's so much stuff that as quick as it comes in, it kind of goes out.
Sure.
So the art stuff, it's a little bit more rare, so I like it more.
I got to tell you something. Still, walking into Hef's house, well, his old house, and seeing that collection was absolutely mind-boggling.
Was that you Hefner?
Mike Hefner.
Oh, Mike Hefner. I was going to say.
When we walked into Hef's house, Ellen and I, to do the photo shoot for, I can't remember what book it was, it was jaw-dropping to see his collection between bats and balls and wrestling outfits and everything else. Does he still have that big a collection? I know he was thinking about liquidating some of it.
Yeah, I mean, going back to, Leland started in the 80s, so imagine having access to all those auctions for decades.
It's a museum.
Things that have come out that even though 900,000 things are sold, certain things from the 90s and 2000s have never made its way out. That's when the collectors bought stuff to keep and not sell. So there's a lot of that stuff just still stashed away in collections that you'll never see again.
Unbelievable. What are some of the other things going into this next auction?
We have a Roger Maris game from the 60s. We have some unopened boxes. I think, what year is it? 60 Topps baseball or 62 Topps baseball unopened. And then we have a whole slew of cards, autographs, tickets, type 1 photos of everyone you could think of. Joe Jackson, Babe Ruth.
Wow.
We even have signed guitars of the Rolling Stones and Bob Dylan and Eric Clapton.
Oh, nice.
Huge variety.
Yeah.
Huge.
Go
ahead.
No, I was going to ask, what's the hottest modern card now that you have, or either you have or you have thoughts on that?
Modern cards, LeBron and Jordan are really making a big push. They've been selling for a lot of money recently, more than last quote-unquote comps. Wow. So we have a Prism LeBron James Gold out of 10 PSA 9 that we sold the PSA 10 a couple of years ago for $400,000. Mm-hmm. Now it's a story that would be maybe about the same or less now. But yeah, we have a PSA 9 coming up in the next auction.
Nice.
Awesome. We are chatting with Jordon Gilroy. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with On Deck with Rico. And we've got Tom Ruggie from Family Destiny Office joining us along with Jordon. So hang in there. We shall be right back.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
Hey, I'm Mike Petroselli. If your company is looking for the best in marketing and promotional items, you'll hit a home run with Petroselli Marketing. With over 8,000 suppliers and 650,000 imprint-ready items, we can get your company the visibility it needs to get your maximum exposure. Whether it be office promotions, wearables, automotive, sports items, and everything in between, Petroselli Marketing can do it all. Our design staff will even work with you from concept to delivery and customize your products. At Petroselli Marketing Group, we will get your brand in front of your audience. Contact us at info@petrosellimkt.com or call us at 603-880-3202. That's Petroselli Marketing, where no dream is impossible.
Petroselli Marketing, go to see my son Mike. He'll take care of you. PetroselliMKT.com is the website, folks. And look, give him some business, will you?
You're still on the payroll there.
No, I'm not.
You're full of crap.
I am not on the payroll.
You are so full of crap.
I get a hat every year.
Yeah, you get a hat every year.
I'm telling you, believe me, telling you, it's worth it. If you don't do it, we're going to lose him as a sponsor. So... So
you know something, please. I got to tell you, let's say hi. Let's bring Tom in right now. Tom Ruggie from
Hey,
Tom. Family Office. I got to tell you guys something, okay?
Go ahead.
Petroselli Marketing, they specialize in everything, right?
Yeah.
Who sends me pens? Memory Lane. This is a Memory Lane pen.
Well, how come Memory Lane doesn't go to Petroselli Marketing?
Why don't I have a Petroselli Marketing pen?
You're going to get one.
I am?
No, not really.
All right.
But,
welcome, Tom. Tom Ruggie.
Yeah, Tom.
Before we get into this discussion on what Tom's here for,
yes,
it is time for our segment called On Deck with Rico, brought to us by our good friend Brian Dwyer and the great staff at REA Auctions.
Yeah.
Don't forget to go to get your bid in by going to robertedwardauctions.com. That's Robert Edward Auctions for extraordinary results and extraordinary service.
He answered the tough questions. On Deck with Richard Petroselli.
All right, Rico, this is an easy. I just want to get your opinion on this. This was sent by a gentleman whose name is Glenn Waning. W-A-N-I-N-G. Question is, Rico, what are your thoughts on having a player starting out on second base in extra innings with today's game? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm an old school guy, obviously. When I played, they didn't do that. There's some new rules. I don't like it, of course, but I think that it would have been better off if they had to do it, put a guy at first base. because with no outs, you can bunt them over. The guy might steal, whoever the runner was. So you still have the possibility of scoring.
Yeah, but if you
second base
isn't it even more strategy because try to bunt them over to third.
Yeah,
and then a base hit or a fly ball scores a run.
Ball at third. That's what I mean. It's too easy.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's what I mean. I mean, at least first base, you give the team out in the field on defense a chance. So if you don't score, then you got a guy at first base. Yeah, I know it might go longer, than what they want. So they're putting a guy. Why not put a guy at third? Fly ball, he can just score.
Yeah, you're right there.
What
about a pitch clock? Just had a quick.
Great. Yeah, I like it.
I mean, it has speed. The game has sped up.
Yeah, it's sped up a little.
All right.
Anyway,
Mr. Ruggie, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
Do you guys know each other? Do you know? Have you ever met?
Nope.
No, we have not.
Oh, okay. Jordon Gilroy from Leland's. Tom Ruggie, the guru on investments. I tell you, Jordan, with the multi-million-dollar collection you have, there's the guy to talk to for your collection. Tom, first of all, tell us about the podcast. I was talking to Cheryl about it.
Talking about our podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we started our podcast about, I think we've just released our 7th or 8th episode. And, in addition to being a collector, I run a multifamily office. So I rotate between kind of the 3 areas of specialty that I focus on. One is just traditional family office practices, such as, asset protection planning, estate planning, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
The second is we do a lot of direct investment work with private companies. So think SpaceX and Reddit and XAI and companies like that we have access to that are privately held companies that are in big demand from high net worth investors. And then the third component is really the overlay between my my love and passion for collecting and overlaying that into the financial sector. So working with a lot of people like myself that have multi-million-dollar collections and how to integrate that. And really, I've done a lot of speaking on my belief that not just sports memorabilia, but a lot of collectibles have become a legitimate asset from an investment standpoint.
Kind of walk us through that, Tom, because I know Joe Smith has a $3 million collection. Okay, what can you do for him? What kind of direction can you give him?
Well, there's no real specific answer. I think it's just the correlation between having a great understanding of a collection and how it is part of somebody's overall wealth management situation and being able to integrate that with everything else that they're doing. And, I think the stat is 77% of ultra high net worth individuals have a very valuable collection of some sort, again, whether it's art or cars or sports, but that is typically not integrated with advisors because most advisors like myself just don't have a lot of knowledge about the investment or collectible sector.
We've talked about this before. It's really interesting. Well, I guess my first question is, so the guy that has a couple $100,000 worth of items, memorabilia, cards, he's kind of like on his own unless, he hooks up with somebody. And I think I mentioned this to you before. It seems as though there are 2 different niches here. Your niche, which is phenomenal for the high-end investor, but it seems as though some of these advisors are starting to dip their toe into the collectibles world, giving advice to their clients, just like they would give their advice on any commodity about what to consider buying, what to consider selling. Are you seeing that, or is it in your hobby, in your industry yet?
Absolutely, Tom. I'm definitely seeing that. It's been amazing to me. We put out a pretty good amount of content regarding collectibles and things like making sure it's properly insured, and like in my situation, making sure you have a succession plan, which is really what started me down this path because I don't have a set succession plan for my collection,
right?
And large collection, but as I've developed content and put myself out there more, including being on your show, etc., I've been amazed how many advisors have reached out to me asking for content or help. The scorecard that we've developed, I bet you there's a dozen advisors that are using my scorecard with their clients, and that's great. I mean,
I think it is. I mean, there's definitely a necessity there for that collector that obviously doesn't have $1 million or $2 million collection, however, has a substantial collection and is not going to know what to do with it. Make it part of your portfolio, just like whatever your stocks and bonds are.
Is it ethical to, and again, I'm using that word because I don't have another word to use, for you to work with the auction house? In other words, Jordon can give you, somehow you can work out where he could give you contacts of the client, of his clients, high end, let's say, vintage guys who could also invest.
I mean, do they open up doors for you? Have any of the big auction houses opened up doors for you, Tom, with their high end collectors?
They have not. There's been a couple that have expressed to me that they've put my name out there to some collectors. Rico, to answer your question, it certainly is ethical as long as it's disclosed. Disclosure is key. I would not want any auction house just randomly, even if I'm the client, I would not want them randomly giving my information out to somebody I don't know.
Yeah.
But if it's disclosed and there's a methodology of, hey, we have somebody that we could think could be of assistance in your situation. Would you like a recommendation or something along that line? It's completely ethical. And I know a lot of the auction houses offer some estate planning, and I'm not really sure what that is made up of, but to me, it's a similar situation.
Interesting. By the way, if you want to have an absolute blast at obtaining some great modern and vintage cards, you got to check out JRI Cards. Paisan, Charlie the Iron Ripper, he's a riot, Perino, along with Money Marco and the Dollar Girls, and the JRI gang give you a chance to participate in opening up a graded, unopened, or sealed fresh whack or cello pack of your favorite sport or non-sport favorite. It's easy. You buy in, Charlie opens the pack, and that's it. Featured in the LA Times, ESPN, and USA Radio, JRI is the hottest card-pulling show on the internet. Charlie and his staff make it fun, entertaining, and enjoyable. And a large part of what they make donates, the proceeds go to various charities.
Yeah.
That's JRI Cards. Check out their exclusive breaks and events that everyone is talking about. There's always something there to dig up. Is when it comes to cardboard treasures. Go to jricards.com. What about our friends at the Philly Show?
Well, East Coast Sports Marketing and Hunt Auctions are pleased to present the Philadelphia Sports Collectors Show, the Philly Show, from Friday, September 22nd to Sunday, September 24th, held at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center, Hall B, 100 Station Avenue, Oaks, Pennsylvania, 19456. Shop over 300 of your favorite hobby dealer booths on over 100,000 square feet of sports collectibles heaven from the 1800s to present day. Major sports auction houses and third-party grading and authentication companies are on hand to assist your collecting needs. The Philly Show is family-friendly, and all kids 12 and under get in for free. Autographed guests to include Pete the Hit King, Pete Rose, Baseball Hall of Famers Jim Thome, Pedro Martinez, and 2023 inductee Scott Rowland. Basketball legends Julius Dr. Irving, my favorite, and Allen Iverson, and many more. For more information, go to phillyshow.com. Remember, since 1975, the Philly Show is where it all started.
Jordon, what do you have coming up for shows? Are you going to be in Wilmington?
I will, yes. Early. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the first weekend in November.
Yes.
So does that mean I have to bring you another sandwich?
Should.
Yeah.
He liked it.
I look forward to that.
A sub.
Really? I mean, they're barbarians, these guys. And Tom, you're not doing any shows, right?
No. I don't. I mean, I attend some shows, but I don't do anything from a standpoint of a booth or advertising or anything like that.
All right. So, Tom, how can people get in touch with you?
Best is either the website, which is destinyfamilyoffice.com, and my email is truggie, and that's TRUGGIE at destinyfamilyoffice.com.
You know, I had a conversation obviously a couple of days ago with Cheryl, and I gave her if you can make contact to that individual that I talked to her about, that would be pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I'd love to meet him, just to meet him. That'd be awesome.
Exactly. And your website, Jordon?
Lelands.com.
All right. Listen, we're just about out of time. Jordon, we're going to see you in a couple of weeks. Not a couple of weeks, but a month or so at the Wilmington show. We may be at least I may be broadcasting from there. We're kind of trying to work it out from them. We don't know yet. We're going to maybe tape the show. Chrissy and I have been talking about it. Mr. Petrucelli, a pleasure seeing you again.
I hope your knee.
It's coming along
real
nicely.
fast.
It's coming along nicely.
Yeah, he's.
I'm way ahead of the game. Way ahead of the game. With that being said, Tom, thank you very much,
guys.
Jordan, as always, thank you very much. And to our viewers and listeners, we love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. It's been really, really cool.
Wonderful. They're great.
Yep. Happy collecting.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.